Hello, my name is Zachariah Van Sliders with Old Man Gaming, and today we've got a very special video for you today. Right now, going on is the closed technical beta for Disintegration. And then I think the 31st of February, just today, the 28th until the 29th, and then the 31st to the 1st, they are doing the open beta. So, Disintegration, what is it? It is a weird one. I don't quite understand the story to it. They've only kind of like just hinted at it online, but for the most part, in this beta, it's all about the multiplayer, and you can tell that they're kind of stress testing their servers and their game. So, what I got to play, I want to just go over with you guys, and I want to share some of the footage that I took from me playing it, and just get it out there for you guys to see. Now, I don't know if I would compare this game to a first-person shooter. I don't even know if I'd call it that. However, I believe the industry is going to call it that, so I think that's kind of how we have to look at it. And as far as first-person shooters go, while the rest of the industry seems very obsessed with speed and time to kill, this game decides to take it slow. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. However, it does come with its downsides. Before we get into that, though, let's just go into the overview of how you play. You're basically this robot guy who pilots a grav cycle, which is kind of like a flying tank. That's the best way to describe it. Now, every grav cycle for each different one of the factions that you can pick has a different loadout. There are two weapons, a weapon and a sub-weapon. The main weapon is just kind of this unlimited fire weapon. Some of them have grenade launchers, some of them have machine guns, some of them have long-range auto burst rifles. Then your secondary weapon is usually a thing, whereas one character has a long charge warhead that just does huge amounts of damage. Another character has a little nanobite seeking thing that seeks to somebody and regenerates their health over time. But that's not where it stops. Every character also has a loadout of a crew, which are like these robots on the ground. They kind of tend to stick with your grav cycle. You can give them quick one-button prompts to attack something or go somewhere and protect the thing. But in addition to that, they all have their own little special ability, which you can activate using the directional pad. Of course, however, they can also get destroyed. If they're destroyed, you have to be within their vicinity to collect their core, and then there's a cooldown until they are recovered and brought back to the field. And then, of course, that also restarts the cooldown on their ability. And I gotta say, the crew grav cycle kind of symbiosis really brings an interesting and refreshing and unique perspective on kind of this shooter, I guess, is what we're calling it. The idea that there's so many ways to attack a situation, even if it feels like you're very stationary. Well, I don't mean stationary in the fact that you can't move. You move very well. It's just you don't move super fast. There's not a lot of, covering or other techniques that you would see in competitive shooters. You can kind of dash back and forth with the grav cycle. And there is a trick to maneuvering it, especially with the altitude changer. But really what's interesting is the way you can attack a situation with the combos of yourself and your crew people. And that took some getting used to. It took me a while to kind of understand that and then use that effectively. But once I did start using it effectively, I was pleasantly surprised by how well that works. So let's go into the game modes that you can play. At least in the technical beta, there seems to be only 3 game modes, and you're randomly spawned into each. I never got to play one of those 3, so I don't know if that's just not available to the open beta or if I'm just not lucky enough. But the 2 modes that I got to spawn into were, one was like a form of domination. Basically, there's 3 control points. You capture a control point once you sit on it long enough, and then if you have to try and hold as many control points as you can to get score. Not unlike your domination from For Honor or the control points from Destiny. Then you have a retrieval mode, which is kind of like an overcomplicated version of Capture the Flag. I gotta say, The capture the flag one seemed a little irritating to me. It definitely seemed a little bit more geared towards the attacker. The way they do the scoring is kind of weird in that too. You score around like you're just trying to keep them from getting as many as they can get, so that you can beat them when it switches over to you. I also found that with the retrieval mode, a lot of people booting in didn't quite understand what it was at the beginning either, and so it led to a lot of draws. A lot of draws. Of course, that probably just comes with the lack of, it being around for a while, and the lack of any real tutorial on the actual modes themselves. There is a playable tutorial that teaches you how to use the grav cycle, which I really appreciated, but as far as what you're supposed to be doing in the modes, it's very unclear right off the bat. They just kind of drop you in. Returning to the point on the combos between yourself and the crew, that's something that I really enjoyed. One of the grav cycle people that I was playing was not really heavy on the combat, but I found that one of his characters could pop out this slow down field, which basically everything that walks through that area gets incredibly slow. And I used that effectively to slow down in the retrieval mode when somebody was trying to take the objective or take the item to the objective, because the grav cycles themselves can't carry the flag thing. It's got to be their crew. So I would drop that down and it would get everybody a chance to annihilate the carrier, which was cool. It was a cool combo that you could do. I also found that there's a lot of tactics that can be just gleaned. There's a lot of common sense tactics that really come in to play in this game. That's a lot of fun once you figure them out, such as my character had this nano regenerator thing. So I would stay behind one of the bigger, broodier grav cycles on my team, and I would just heal him while taking pot shots at people. And that really started to work once I got the hang of it. I will say, after trying all of the, I think it was like 8 different grav cycle pilots with crews that you could try, I did feel there was a little balancing that probably needs to be done. And this is a beta, that's probably why they're doing it. But I found that like the bigger, heavier ones, even while they can take a lot of damage, that's all they can really do, and that's not really useful in battle. Whereas the slower, faster ones with more uses was where the fun was, and I think that balancing could cause an issue if it's still around once the game comes out. Returning to my earlier point about them slowing it down. Again, this game has a very slow time to kill. You'll play a 30-minute match, maybe you'll die 3 or 4 times if you're not completely stupid. With that in mind, the grav cycle that you're piloting can take a lot of damage, and so can other grav cycles. At the same respect, they're not super fast. Even the ones that handle really well don't zip all over the place. This game is really about thinking where your next move is and thinking what you're going to do next. And it gives you time to think, which, a lot of games now, especially since most shooters end up going into that battle royale genre, you spend a lot of time running in a field until a guy on a hill takes you out from, a mile away with one shot. You're not going to have that frustration in this game. If you're somebody who gets very irritated by that, this is the game for you. And in my opinion, that's one of my more irritating things about modern day shooters right now, is a lot of them have incredibly fast time to kills with incredibly long, kind of weird odds to them. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not knocking those games. It's just I like to have that time to think, and I like it to be a little bit more about strategy than twitch reflexes. And this one, that is every move has to be thought out. And it gives you time to think. It gives you time to be in that moment to decide who you're shooting, who you're healing, how you're commanding your troops, what you're commanding them to do. And I really, really enjoyed that. As far as that front, that unique front, I don't think that, of the shooters I've played, and I've played a good amount of them, this is probably the most unique one I have tried in a long time. It should be noted that there were frame rate drips, some glitches, some technical glitches, but fairness, this is a beta. It's a technical beta. The whole point is it's going to have those because they're trying to find them and they're trying to fix them. So I'm not really deducting any points at this point for that. So I guess I should sum up at this point. I did enjoy my time with it so far. I am planning on continuing to play it through the closed beta and probably come back to it in the open beta. That being said, I do want to just talk on some potentially missed opportunities with this game. And I don't know that these are fully missed because, again, this is just a beta, but there's a lack of customization, and I'm not talking about, like, what your team looks like, but, like, what your team is. A lack of customization in the options that you have. I don't think you should be able to change the Grav Rider loadout, but why can't I change the makeup of my team? Why can't I change how they act? How many of them there are? That sort of thing. That I feel that this game is kind of like the way it is now. And again, this is a beta. It could be completely different when it comes out. But the way it is now, you pick a rider, that rider has a specific set team, and all of them are what they are, period. I would like to be able to mess with the combos of that. I would love to be able to mess with, like, the big, bulky rider with some of the faster, craftier crew from one of the other teams. Right now you can't do that. You don't get to actually, like, create your crew on the spot. I would like a created crew. I'd like crew loadouts. I'd really think that that's where some of the playability of this would be. In its current state, it's just about shooting, and that's fun, but it does get old eventually. I want some of the background stuff to be more than cosmetics. I'm not talking about pay to win. I'm talking about just, like, creating different synergies, and I think that's where this game shines, is the synergy between the crew and the pilot of the grav cycle and how you use both in the combat situations. To not give you a chance to, like, mess with different combinations is I think a loss on the right, and I'm hoping that that is in the main game and we're just playing a beta where it doesn't have anything like that. Alright, so I hope this guy gives you guys a little bit of a look into Disintegration and what it is if you didn't get a chance to get to sign up for the closed beta, or you're not going to get a chance to play the open beta, which starts on February 31st. But I'm really excited about this game. I'm still excited for this game. The beta has only increased that, and playing it is really a refreshing difference. I'm looking forward to potentially doing a review on this and deciding whether that refresh wears off or not, but I'm quite excited for this game. So hopefully you guys got some information from this first impressions video for Disintegration, and hopefully at some point they give us a release date, which is the most surprising thing about these back-to-back betas. Usually they do these betas relatively close to release date because they're stress testing. The fact that we don't have a release date, we only have a window, and we're getting betas like this is very strange, in my opinion. But that is a topic for another day. So enjoy the video. Hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the footage that I was able to take. Of course, you guys can check out everything we have to offer. Reviews every Monday, Borderlands 3.3.0, my playthrough every Wednesday, and then our podcast every Friday. Then, of course, we do Philbilly 3.3.0's Borderlands 3 videos, and other special little videos like this. So please subscribe if you like this, like the video if you liked it, leave a comment below. Hell, tell me how bad I'm doing. That's fine with me too. Just thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.